Alright guys, I have watched Fantastic Four First Steps, and I'm going to say this right now. Not only is this the first good Fantastic Four movie, it is the first good Marvel product of 2025. Disagree with me if you want, but honestly Marvel has been all shades of disappointment this year. Brave New World pretty much summed up the confused state that they're in at the moment and how dull they've got. Thunderbolts was completely overrated. The fact that these guys are the new Avengers now just felt unearned to me. The more I think about Daredevil Born Again, the more it just feels like a pale imitation of Marvel's best material, and that one doesn't exist to me. So colour me surprised that Fantastic Four is the exception, and this is in spite of the fact that the movie has had some really rubbish marketing of lately, like all these leaks that they were going to change Johnny Storm's character, they were going to make Sue Storm the leader. Let me tell you now, none of that happens. This team dynamic is exactly how Jack Kirby originally envisioned it. And it is ironic with this movie being set in a different universe because it is very fresh in terms of Marvel movies, and that grants the movie time to breathe. I'm telling you, this really should have been where the multiverse saga started out. You know, take time away from Iron Man and Cap, you know, have audiences get used to the fact that those guys aren't around anymore. Honestly, I had such gripes about Pedro Pascal taking over another iconic character. One thing you can't knock this guy for is that he is a pretty good actor who turns his hand to most things, and he does portray Reed Richards with a lot of nuance and commanding presence. He has superb chemistry with Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm, and Sue is very much the glue tying this thing together. And along with Yelena, this is how you do a great female character in a superhero movie. I also love Johnny Storm in this movie. I've been banging the Joseph Quinn drum since his casting, and he's not just the comedic character, he gets his own journey, which is a great surprise and an emotional anchor of the movie. Now, granted, I will always be attached to the 2005 version of the thing, but I think Ebon Moss-Bachrach acted a really good job. The CGI looks almost true to life in some shots. And I say this to you now, this is the most restrained Marvel has ever been with its humour. This movie pulls back the comedy, lets the drama flow, there are some genuine stakes at hand here, the heroes are constantly backed into a corner, there's no... And can't forget the good boy himself, Herbie. Honestly, Crypto's got stiff competition. But yeah, let's get to the basics. This movie's not perfect, and it definitely is not resurging Marvel from the depths. This is directed by the guy who did WandaVision, and you can definitely feel that. The first half really is good at setting up this world and a different identity, and then it kind of falls into generic superhero climax, and it relies far too much on conveniences. And I think the antagonists are kind of underdeveloped. I mean, Ralph Ineson as Galactus is inspired casting. This guy had the cinema completely silent on his introduction, but the more you see of him in the climax, in broad daylight, just walking around the city, that's as underwhelming as I thought it was going to be. And yeah, they do have to nerf him towards the end, so it's believable that the Fantastic Four can take on this guy. Also, one of the weaker elements, I would say, is the Silver Surfer. This character does have a lot of depth in concept, and yet she's barely in the movie to really get fleshed out with that. But honestly, that is kind of a testament towards the movie that my main gripes is I wanted more of this. Fantastic Four First Steps is not only the best Fantastic Four movie, bar none, it's the best Marvel movie probably this... It's the best Marvel movie this year, bar none. In terms of who's won Super Fantastic this summer, I would say Superman just edges it, but Fantastic Four was satisfying for me.